Welcome to another episode of the Walk and Grow podcast. Today we are going to talk about some of the issues that are, going on right now. We were supposed to actually talk about self-image and how, what does self-image mean to you? What do you think when you look at yourself in the mirror? What do you see? But with everything going on, we decided to shift gear and talk about gratitude. And it only, makes sense that we pay our respect to those who we just lost. So we'll take a moment of silence to pay respect to those who we've just recently lost. And during that 1 minute, I also want you to reflect on what are you grateful for? What are some of the things that you're grateful for, and why are you grateful of these things? Because it's important to kind of pause and reflect and kind of and look back and see, okay, the life that I have here is actually a gift. These things it's not permanent. I'm not gonna be here forever. So be grateful for this moment. Be grateful for these things. You have family or whatever it could be. But let's take a moment in silence and kind of pay our respect. And yeah. Okay.
No, I appreciate you for even doing that, man. It's something. It's like times and people like that you need to have in your life to make sure that you kind of can see and understand and be present in all facets of life. Because if it wasn't for me, I promise you, I probably would have not done that. And it's not me not thinking about others. It's just more of not thinking of this idea. So, first and foremost, thank you for doing that. And this is me showing gratitude right now. And I even want to extend it a bit further. I know we mentioned that we will be talking about the reviews, the ratings that people do leave, and we're a month late. Sorry, Trevor, but we're gonna get it better late than never, right? Trevor left us one, and I'm just gonna read it to you guys, just so you guys know that we're acknowledging everything that's going on. We want you guys to be a part of this. We want to hear the feedback that you guys have. So here's Trevor's, and if you don't know where to find it, this is the Walking Growth podcast. Go to any Apple, Spotify, app with
Audible
Amazon
on
now.
Amazon now.
Oh yeah, exactly. You leave us those reviews. But Trevor mentioned best growth and mindset podcast out there. You got that right. I look forward to these every Tuesday. So we're not leaving, guys. We're always gonna be here. But these conversations are what we need to hear to put ourselves in proximity with those who want to see us become the best version of ourselves. If you're stuck in a rut or just need a boost to get that epiphany moment, do yourself a favor and listen to this podcast. We're not going to be a disservice to you guys, we promise. We've made it our mission to make sure that we're giving at all costs, whether it's our knowledge, whether it's a guest's knowledge. We're gonna come and bring the fire because this is what we needed and this is what we're doing because we identify like, hey, we do this with each other, we do this with our sphere, we do this with the group of people that we speak to all the time. Why not share, this with the world? What better way to do that, man?
Mhm. Mhm. I think it's important, because you have no idea how impactful it could be out there, and how
Yeah,
somebody may need it out there in this moment or during this season. They could be going through like a period of time where it's important for them to hear some of these things. Maybe not all of them, but it's
right.
just the willingness to be out, to be here and share it is powerful. Um, so yeah, that's
Exactly.
why I'm,
So,
I'm happy. I'm
thank you,
actually,
Trevor.
yeah, I'm grateful for people like Trevor, people that tap in and actually willing to share their opinion with others to make them understand that, hey, this is not a waste of time. There's actually valuable content on this side. So
Right,
we're grateful for people
right.
like Trevor and all our fans, all our friends. We're happy that you're part of the journey.
And if you're listening right now, and you're thinking about, hey, you want to leave a review. No, no, just don't think about it, just do it.
Right.
As Nike would say, right? We're going to be reading these, so, we do take knowledge of it. We'll go ahead and, kind of let everybody know what your thoughts are, and then we're going to give you our feedback, and we just want to say thank you for those that have already and those that will in the future. And we're going to continue to read these things, so.
Yeah. So let's get into it now. Let's get it into the 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 nugget of it all.
The nitty gritty.
When I first mentioned it to, like, early on today, what did you think? When you heard gratitude, what was that? How did that make you feel?
It didn't make me feel any sort of way. It's something that's like, yeah, I need to do that right now. If anything, that was one of those things that went through my mind. It's because I live so much in the future,
Mm,
and I know that of myself.
mm,
So that, like I said, it's great to have people like you around because they put you back into the place where you need to be. But when you mentioned the word gratitude, it was just like, yeah, nah, I definitely need to do that. Which is why when we took that pause, I took it seriously. I closed my eyes. I did everything needed to kind of reflect and kind of be where I needed to be at that moment. It's because we need to do those. Like you said, our
mm-hmm.
time here is limited.
Right.
It's not forever.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where it's like it made me feel good to be able to do that because I don't do it all the time. I'll tell you that.
Right. Yeah, so it's to me it was kind of boiling down to, if you look at everything that's going on right now, whether it's during the past couple shooting or all the shooting that have happened over the past decade, right? Or any issue
Yeah.
that's going on in the world right now, whether it's in Africa or with COVID or in Russia, whatever. You really think if it boils down deep into it, it's there's a lack of gratitude for the things that these individuals have. You can look in any of these scenarios. There's somewhere in there. There's a lack of gratitude for these issues happening. Whether it's the shooting. If whoever was the perpetrator, if he was grateful for the life that he had, he wouldn't go out there and do things like that. If he valued his life, and he wouldn't go out there and do things like that. You could say the same thing about what's going on in Russia. So I think the lack of gratitude in the world is really a detriment to our evolution, our development as a collective whole. So it's
I think it's beyond gratitude, though.
really.
I think it's beyond it.
Are you saying it's more of a why? Give me your perspective on that. I'm curious to know why you feel that way.
Yeah, and the reason why I say I think it's bigger than gratitude because, I mean, we can all be grateful. We can all understand where we come from, but some people may not like it, and I think that right there is what kind of shifts gears.
But
If
go
some people just don't like the situation they're put in, and yeah, we all have the ability to change
right.
everything, right?
Mm.
But some people just don't have the willpower, the mind to go ahead and do so. So it's like, yeah, you can be grateful. You can have all the gratitude. You can give everyone all the thanks in the world for whatever has happened. But all it takes is for that one thing to shift everything. And at that point in time, all you see is rage.
Right.
All
So,
you see is like black.
but s-
You don't really see anything.
but does that have? I don't, but then that's tapping into your emotions. That's tapping into your emotions,
Yeah.
right? So if you're gonna let your emotion dictate or drive who you are, then now we have to start talking about your self-image. How do you see yourself? Because if you're grateful for the life you have, no matter what triggers you, you should not let that affect you because you shouldn't let your surrounding dictate what you want to do. You feel me? So if you have control over your emotions,
That's fair. I mean,
and you're grateful of the life you have, you shouldn't let that little thing trigger you. It's like you're telling me if a little kid curse at me, I'm gonna slap him. I have enough control because I'm grateful enough to know that hey, God gave me the wisdom to know that this is just a game. He's probably just joking. You know, if
but
it's just like
you said something crucial.
yeah,
You said something crucial. Crucial. You have control. That is why I think another reason why I think gratitude is just a step in that right direction. It's because everyone wants to be in control.
mm,
Um, you may not be a control freak,
mm,
But some way, somehow, everybody wants some sort of control, power, respect, some sort of like title. That's kind of why I think we all seek for the things we seek for. We seek for is, just social gratification
Right.
rather than our self gratification.
Uh, it's like the scale is different, and at least the majority of society focus on okay, how what's the perspective of others, when it comes to me. But I think you can shift away from that and say ask the actual question, which is what will trigger us. How do we cultivate the habit of being grateful? How do you
Be around the right people.
yeah, I mean that's one way. That's one way, but it is the only
Be
way.
around the right that
But like, okay, so let's say I come up to you, I'm like, yo, I've been struggling with being grateful lately. Like, I mean, like, just like
yeah.
life is just dark, man. I'm just going through a hole because of whatever situation happened. How do you what would be your advice to me to
hmm
say, hey, yo, what's your advice? What's your pitch there for me to kind of let me see the light?
Yeah. So I'm not a professional in doing this, so I may not have the right approach. So if you are a professional therapist, whoever, you're gonna definitely have the better approach. But if somebody were to come up to me and say something of that nature to me, first and foremost, I'm gonna try to understand them. Understand why do they feel this way. There's a reason why you're coming up to me and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is everything is out of control for me right now. Well, first, what's going on? And what's the issue that's kind of getting you all chaotic and kind of all emotional, you having all these radical emotions essentially.
Right.
Is I'm going to understand it, and then from there, then I can have a better idea of how to go about dealing with it. Now there's maybe a problem that I cannot fix. However, I can guide you in a direction where you can have a little bit more control of how you're going to fix it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's if you're gonna share a problem with someone, you have to be one receptive to hearing what they have to say. But if you're also gonna hear people's problems, please help them. They're not sharing their problems with you for no reason. They're sharing with you because they want you to hear it, and also maybe, hopefully, seek from some sort of feedback
Right.
of how could they go about dealing with it.
Right.
So it's more or less, I would just try to understand the person, hear what the problem is, and why do you feel that way? Because you don't necessarily have to feel that way, even if it's something that could be life changing. You know what I mean? It could be something that could be the worst of the worst scenarios that could be happening to someone, but there's still a way to turn it around. It's just literally your perception of everything. I think that's how it boils down to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious to hear from you though. What would be your approach in terms of something like that? If somebody were to approach you and kind of seek for some sort of feedback in some situation or lifestyle that they're going through.
Right. So to me, it's gonna be more focused towards the importance of it, so the benefit of it. So I think cultivating it and the habit of gratitude, of being grateful, cultivating the habit of being grateful, um, produce something, and that something is crucial to our development, whether it's your personal development or our collective, development as a whole, as a community, and that something is faith. If you're grateful for the things that you have, you basically are expecting good things out of life, and by expecting good things, expectation itself is faith. That's where I'm kind of going with it. And if you have faith, you know for a fact that you're standing on the ground where you're heading in the right direction. So out of that, really, so out of being grateful, you get a positive energy, and that positive energy is faith, which is then going to allow you to push on and get up every day in the morning and fulfill your vision and pursue your dreams and goals. But if you lack the ability to be grateful from the beginning, bro, think about this. It's easy for us to have things today, right? In this world, let's say I get $1 million or whatever, or $10 billion. But if I am not grateful for having it, it serves me no good, because I'm gonna keep on chasing. And chasing, it's basically, you're putting yourself in a position where you will never be satisfied. You will never have that peace of mind because you're constantly chasing. So being grateful allows you to say, "Hey, I'm okay with what I have. I know I could have more. I know I could have less, but I'm thankful for what I have. Whatever comes my way. Like this is not. It's not supposed to be here, but I have
Mm.
it. You feel me? So this is what I'm gonna go with. So that's kind of my approach. It's like it allows me to then be faithful and say, there is more on the way. Boom. You know?
Yeah, yeah, no, I got you. So in a situation like that, right? You're gonna try to share somebody some sort of, kind of let them see the light. Essentially, is kind of what I got from
Yeah.
it. What if they don't have anything good going on and they can't like? What if they just don't really have anything good going on? How
Well,
do you
well,
really go about it then?
there's countless of example of situation where we're put in and you don't have anything good, but there's always something good in our life. There's always something good in our life. You know, the fact that you're
Mm.
even able to be there, standing and have the ability to complain. It's something you should be grateful for because there's some people that are not here to be complaining about their issues. They're 6 feet under. So you are still here standing. That means you have the ability to change your life today. You have the ability to find that goodness that's already in your life. So there's always something to be grateful for. If you're breathing, you have something to be grateful for. So don't tell me
Mm.
that just
Okay.
because it's within that lays your power to kind of make the best out of life. By being able to understand
Yeah.
that concept, you know, okay, which way I'm gonna take this now. Feel me? But you have to start somewhere, and I think if you start with, sitting there and reminding yourself of, hey, I have two legs that allow me to go from work, for example, from home to work, for example, right? I have two hands that allow me to cook myself a meal. Some people don't have that. I have a brain that allows me to think. I'm
Yeah.
not in the hospital today. I'm at home. I'm free. I'm not behind bars. You get what I'm saying? So things like that, small things like that. I may not have the money that I want. I may not have the cars that I want, but I have the ability to change my life. I have the ability to be better than I was yesterday or 10 seconds ago. So knowing that, I'm already grateful.
Mm.
I'm already in a good position. So that's kind of where it is. What do you think?
I'm curious. I want to kind of go down this place. I agree with you. I mean, I don't really think that, like when you boil it down to the fact that you have two hands, you have 2 feet, you have the ability to breathe.
Mm.
I think when you kind of boil down to that, you always have, like you said, something to be thankful for. So I 100% agree or grateful for as well. So I 100% agree with you on that aspect. So what makes you think that some people do irrational things then, if they have that ability to, I mean, you may not have that person in your life to be go ahead and kind of let you see the other side, right? To see the light of what may be good out of to see the good out of something.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just curious to know what makes you believe that, or at least what makes you, what's the best way to word this? What makes you think that people do irrational things then?
I don't think that there's nothing that makes me think that people do irrational things. It's been proven countless times. I don't have to, you're one Google search away from seeing exactly, that it's been proven. People do get disconnected from, that habit of gratification once they get what they were seeking. There's a proven record of like, hey, when you obtain what when you get that job, there's been example of people when they get the job and they're ungrateful afterwards because someone's whatever scenario, or I don't like my manager, or they're not paying me enough. You're actually getting paid. Somebody doesn't have a job. So things like that. It's like when
Yeah.
you get the thing that you were looking for, it's like, oh, I have it now. So it's like whatever, but instead of continuing to be grateful for even having it. To me, it's just the lack of consistency you know, with being grateful.
So how does one? So how does one continue to practice being grateful? Like, what's your recommendation, or at least what is something that you do, that you do to practice being gratitude and being grateful, showing thanks for the things that you're experiencing?
My way of doing that is just looking around. To me, I have tied that feeling or that habit of gratification with the feeling of love. So looking around and looking at the things that bring me joy and that bring me love, that bring me happiness, and those are the things that are great. I'm grateful for. Like the other day, I was sitting. I'm like, hey, yo, if it wasn't, I'm looking at my pictures, like all the hiking trips that I've taken. I'm like, yo, literally, if it wasn't for my two legs, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't. I can't hike in the wheelchair. You feel me? So small things like that made me grateful to even be able to, climb these mountains and see beautiful things, and be able to take, part in certain activities that I normally would not have the ability to do. So again, it's tied down to, okay, what emotion brings me joy and happiness? What are these things that bring me joy and happiness? And those are those things that I'm also grateful for. Um, yeah, and it's people as well. So the people that are around me, family is always a big thing. Your parents and your significant other, those are the people that bring me that joy and happiness of to know that, hey, every time that you wake up, you have people that are there to support and love you and walk with you in this path. You're not walking by yourself. Friends as well. So
Hmm.
those are, at least on a smaller scale. It's not even a small scale. It's a major scale. Those are some of the things that you can be grateful for. But there's always something.
Okay. I hope those that are listening took notes there. Um, I'm not the best person to take notes on that one because, again, like I said, I live in the future, so
Mm.
it's something that I'm practicing all the time. And I like what you said, like we don't walk this world by ourselves.
I mean, actually, I like the fact that you said that you live in the future, and for you to have a positive attitude towards the future and say, hey, my future is bright. You have to look at it and say, hey, what I have now is good because I'm heading towards something
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah,
You get what
yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you don't walk this world by yourself. Hence our name, Walk and Grow Podcast. Hence, look at our photo, look at the logo in itself. I mean, you see literally, we we see there's people, there's footsteps behind us. And that's all of that is not even intentional. And now the more and more we speak on it, you kind of see pieces and things get put together, um, and just you kind of just wow yourselves. And I think we all have the ability to do that. You just have to kind of just do it. And I hate to say, that's the same thing. Just
Right.
do it all the
Exactly.
time. But it's truly the execution is everything. And I hope this is a podcast helping you to take
Take
action.
action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really hope this is the podcast helping you do that because that's truly all it is. You won't see the other side unless if you take action, and then you can make your adjustments to it.
Right. Well, that's all I had for today. That's kind of my spiel. I don't know if you wanted to add anything. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about on top of that? I think it was a good, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever that was, to, share a bit about the importance of gratitude. Go out there and cultivate the habits of being grateful to others, being grateful to yourself as well. It's important. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Don't look at yourself, in a negative with a negative mindset because you are what you think about. So, how do you think about yourself? You know, um, Continue to look at the brighter side of life as you're moving towards it. Even in a time of darkness because it's really in that time of darkness that you need your flashlight, and that flashlight is gratitude. And with that, you then are able to take each step and take action through faith. So get out there and do those things and continue to push through life, knowing that you always have something good to look forward to.
I got a quick question though. Like, I'm not the type of person to look into the news at all. Like, if anything, I kind of get my news just as it sporadically happens.
Don't look into the news.
Yeah, I know. I'm not the. Yeah,
My advice: don't look into
I'm
the
not into
news.
that. That's just not me. I
Yeah.
bring that up
Don't.
because a lot of
Yeah.
people may really be tapped into it, and I want to kind of steer people away from looking into it too much. I understand the news is something, a way of being informed,
Right.
and it's something that you can kind of understand what's going on around you. However, I have my own personal opinion on the kind of information that they do share, and what it is. It's constantly negative. So, we all know that someone somewhere is doing something that they should not be doing, and it sucks the fact that it is that way. However, if the more and more you pay attention to it, the more and more you're going to be more geared to just taking in everything that they're feeding you. And I think, that one aspect of it is, kind of take in what they're saying with a grain of salt, understand, like, hey, this is what's actually happened. This is reality.
Yeah.
But it does not have to be your reality. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone reality. And that's why I think, this episode of, just showing gratitude and being thankful and showing appreciation to others is very, very important. Take everything everyone says and everything that's given to you with a grain of salt, because that doesn't have to always be the truth.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well, and we can always continue on this. I think it's important to talk about stuff like that. But I do want to thank those who have listened, who have made it this far. It shows a lot about your trust in us. I know we may not be your favorite podcast yet, but we appreciate your time listening to us, and and share this message with others. Have discussions
Yeah.
about this stuff. Without we don't just say this just to say it, but have discussion, talk about this with somebody. Whenever you're out at for lunch or anything, you can talk to some people about this and see what they say. Carry on the agenda, because that's how we make this world a better place, by identifying problems and talking about them, and finding
Yep.
solutions together.
And don't forget, follow us on the Walk and Grow
But
podcast
yeah, thank you
on
for being
Instagram.
able to listen.
If you have a question, you have a concern, you have something that you want us to talk about, feel free to email us, walkandgrow@gmail.com. But don't forget, again, leave us a review. Like us. Give us a heart. The more and more that we get those, the more and more we can be put in front of people to make sure that our content is helping you every day be able to grow and helping the next person, your neighbor, grow as well. So share this with your friends as well.